Hey, hey guys. As part of our exploration, Beth and I are actually looking at people in the industry, the paranormal, the kind of readings and energy, and that kind of stuff in the industry, to learn more about what people do and how they're helping people and kind of all that good stuff. And that's going to include different cultures and different techniques and different things like that as we move forward and just try to learn about this industry as a whole. Today we're going to sit down with Sarah Martucci. Sarah is a psychic medium, but what really interests me was that she had crystal healer, certified crystal healer on her page. And I wanted to know more about that. And she also does astrology and readings and that kind of stuff. So I thought she would be a great person to talk to. A couple things about Sarah. I think she is a really fun person, and we had a great time chatting. I really like her. I think she is genuine and cares about people. But I did ask her to please refrain from cussing because she is known as the cuss mouth angel. And if you do visit her after this interview, you are going to hear a lot of that. But you're safe here. You're safe today. There's no cussing going on during this interview. But beyond that, consider yourself forewarned that if that's something you're not okay with, you may want to stay away from her links, which will be included in the description. Another thing that I want to talk about real quick is that Beth and I decided to start a Facebook group because we want to hear your voice and we want you involved in the Undeparted and the decisions we make and kind of how we move. And, your input and adding your voice is going to be an important part of the show. So come on over to our Facebook group. There's a link below the video here in the description. And, ask to join. Our goals are to produce great content and grow the channel and hopefully get you to add your input and add your voice. We're going to do polling and all this good stuff so that we can tailor this channel around our group. From there, we can springboard another episode of Undeparted, and eventually, hopefully, we can turn that into a series. It's really important to me that we maintain creative control of this project because, we want to keep it genuine, we want to keep it honest, and we want to tell those stories of real people in a real way. And that's important. So hopefully we can maintain that. All right, so thanks for taking the time to listen to this, and let's just jump out and get right into the interview with Sarah. I think you're going to have fun. Thank you. All right, so let's start some questions.
Let's do it.
Survey says.
Yeah, right.
Let's see.
Sasquatch for 300, please. Sorry, Chris.
You are strange.
I am. Thank you.
And you know what? Jim Morrison got it right when he said people are strange. So that's okay.
Yes,
I think strange is interesting, so.
Me too.
So can you tell, you kind of started talking about a little bit about your background. You said you had some early experiences when you were 5, I think.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to where you are today.
I started having experiences around 5 years old. That's like the first time I remembered, something happening here. And this experience, when I was little, I used to see spirit physically. I do not anymore. It's just a theory, but I think I was so terrified about like what I was seeing when I was a kid that I like shut that part of me down. I just like couldn't handle it. It was really terrifying. The first experience I had, it woke me up in the middle of the night. There was a man standing in my room and he had tattered clothing on. It was all ripped and he looked messed up. And it didn't look like the clothing from here and now. Again, I'm 5. So I was just like, he doesn't look like people do here now. He had on like weird looking pants and a baggy shirt. And he had like a sideways hat on. But like when he went to go talk to me, water was pouring out of his mouth. That scared the absolute heck out of me as a 5-year-old. I didn't understand what was happening. So I'm screaming that there's someone in my room. My parents come in, they don't see anybody. I'm like going bonkers. My parents are telling me that like I'm just having nightmares. My parents are handling it the best that they can. They're just like, what is happening here? Do you know what I mean? And I came from a deep Catholic background. Like my dad was going to be a priest before he married my mom. So like our family was very heavily Catholic, very heavy Irish. Like this is
Yeah.
not something that we really talk about. Like if you reference anything spiritual, it goes to the church. So there was question marks kind of looking at me like, are you okay, kid? Like, but I just kept having these experiences. And I have so many more stories I can't even recall, but like it was for me, it was scary. I didn't sleep a lot. I didn't feel safe as a kid because I didn't know what was going on. And I also didn't necessarily have the backup, but also what could my parents have done? There wasn't any resources at the
Yeah.
time. I got bullied. It was a rough time for me as a kid, but I'm really proud of myself for never giving up or from like not fully shutting down what was going on with me. I don't even know if I could.
Yeah.
But for me, it was difficult growing up. So there's an important part of this now where like I love working with kids and just making sure that like that you were absolutely safe and protected and you wouldn't be given these gifts and abilities if you also didn't have the ability to protect yourself. So in a weird way that kind of helps like my younger self, I feel like paying it forward, taking care of these kids, making sure that they got the support and the love and like I see you, you got this, because I didn't get that when I was a kid. Really, I think my parents were just trying to calm me down, but by saying to me that like, this is crazy or you're making this up or it was just a dream, it really in a way like it started this gaslighting of myself. I mean, my own father actually said to me that the devil's speaking through your mouth. Do you know how long that took to be like, first of all, to know that I'm not so important that the king of hell is choosing me? I think he's losing his touch, number one. I know I cuss a lot, but I mean, seriously, it can't be that bad. And number two, just like, I think that you're going to find with every medium or psychic that you talk to that's been doing this work, they've got a hell of a backstory. And it's a lot of overcoming trauma and overcoming things people said to them or even their own selves to show up for this.
By the time I was 17, I was looking for
Mhm.
self-help books, all this stuff, just
Yes,
because I'm like, I'm
yes.
going to be messed up if I don't figure a way out of this,
But Chris, I
But,
think that's beautiful. I think
um,
we're alike in that way where it's like we knew from the start we had to choose ourselves.
yeah,
We
yeah,
have to.
and it's a
So it,
journey.
it
It's a
almost
journey.
forces you. Yes, perfect.
So,
Yep.
I guess, because we are talking about cussing and
Mm.
that's part of your thing. Um, you even may have I think somewhere I saw that you call it cuss motivation or something. Is that what it is? Am I right?
Well,
Like, is
one of
that?
my nicknames is the cuss mouth angel. So,
Yeah.
like, my friends are like, "You're an angel, but man, your mouth, like you're a sailor." So, I guess in a way, this is also a way of me taking back my voice.
Yeah.
Do you feel?
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
speaking in the way that
I
I
kind of
want.
look at you as the Tarantino of tarot, you know?
Oh, thank you. Oh my God, sir. Thank you. Well, you just made my whole day. Thank you,
So that's
Chris,
your
because we
next
just become
nickname.
best friends.
The
I'll take it, man.
Tarantino
Hail to the yes.
of tarot. And that's not a bad thing, like people love
I
tarot.
love that though.
Yeah, but let's jump on. So can you talk to
Yeah.
me about chakras and what exactly that is? Because that's
The
okay.
chakras are just energy centers on your body. That's all it is. It's little areas. So, like the crown chakra is what helps us connect with spirit. Your root chakra is what makes you feel like you belong here on Earth and connects you to the physical plane here. Your heart chakra, I think, connects you to the experience and to other people. So, the chakras are just energy points in the body that we can work with to help us better understand ourselves, and to also keep us entrained with where we're supposed to be going, with what we're supposed to be doing, hopefully and trained with our joy and what we do want from this life.
What exactly then is crystal therapy and how is that typically used? Like,
So for me specifically, the way that I use it, I like calling them talismans and tools of intention. So I'll take rocks, crystals, and stones and like make maybe somebody like a rosary or like a pendulum or like a bracelet or a necklace, whatever they want here. Maybe even like a house cleansing feather, something. And I use like I call it a crystal prescription. You tell me what you're trying to bring towards you or what you're trying to like get rid of or whatever, and I'll come up with like a 3 stone prescription to help you really get into that mindset. So whether or not you believe in the stones, it doesn't matter to me. May they, if you don't believe them, may they just be a physical reminder of what you're trying to work towards or get rid of out of your life. But essentially, the stones. I place them on the energy centers, and then it just lends itself. That energy lends itself to healing that space. Essentially, we entrain with the stones. So the stones always have like an energy or like a vibration, they're always putting out the same type of energy, always. We are all over the place. But whenever we get with something that's steady and always rocking the same energy, we start to entrain with that. I just think it's beautiful. I've seen incredible healings happen. I'm not even saying by my hands, but just watching other people do this work, wanting to get into it too. I just thought it was amazing. Stones always resonated for me, even when I was a little kid. I used to like pick up stones out of the driveway.
So, what are some of the crystals that you like most, and why?
Sir, do we have the time? Because
Well, why don't we just keep it down
there's
to
so
like
many.
3?
Fair,
Okay.
because I will go for hours. I know this is an old school one, but I love clear quartz. That's just one of my favorite stones because I feel like it's a universal stone. It's a universal stone and it amplifies whatever it's put with. I want to say another one where everybody's like, okay, boring, but like I want to say amethyst because again, that's an all healer. Amethyst is really good for anything. It really helps you to be calm, to like soothe down. I love the color purple. It's my favorite. I know my hair is green, but I love purple. And it always corresponds with that with your third eye up here. So it's opening up that space, being able to maybe like see visions or just hear your intuition more clearly. And then I would say, oh man, this is hard. Okay, so maybe I get four. Okay. I would say my next one is labradorite and then rainbow moonstone. I love these stones. These are my favorite. I work with these ones a lot. But I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't, name 20 more, but those are definitely my top four. I love those stones.
So, when someone's searching for a crystal healer, what are some qualities that they should look for?
I would hope that, or at least me personally, when I was looking for a good crystal healer, I wanted somebody that was knowledgeable about the stones, somebody that's also willing and open. It's not just what they want for you. Is your person really listening to what you're saying? Are they hearing you? So make sure the person that you're working with is hearing what your needs and wants are. It's really giving you something that's going to help you, not just something they want to throw on you. Make sure that the person's really hearing you and is able to be present with you and in your session. Also, too, if you go into a session with anybody, I don't care who they are, but if they keep trying to say, if somebody tells you that like you're cursed or that you've got demons attached to you and that they can break that curse or break away the demons for like 3 grand or something like that, this is not a person we want to work with. This is not a person that's really truly tuned into your energy and taking care of you. And I know I'm saying something that not a lot of people would agree with, but I'm telling you right now, when that exchange happens, that's not a space that we want to be in. Okay. Your healer or the person that you go to work with helps you to get on the path to take care of yourself. Okay. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah, I do. I think that's
Okay.
great.
Okay.
Um,
I just think those things are important. Yeah.
so I'm gonna go to something a little lighter again.
Okay.
What I want to know is, why do they call you the Duchess of Donuts?
That's actually a fair question. Actually, probably my favorite question so far. I think it was me calling myself that. It was just one day because I love donuts so much, man. It's probably a problem to be honest with you. When I was pregnant with my son, I had lined up my day to know when the Krispy Kreme sign would go on. So I would make sure I could stop there once a day, just get one little Krispy Kreme. So for me, it just became a part of like this funny thing. I love donuts so much. It's just one of my favorite things. It's sugar, it's bread, yes please. Carbs and sugar, yes please. So
Pretty good, huh?
and I just called my yeah, hell to the yes, sir. I love this so much.
You
So yeah,
want
I know.
one?
Yes, I do. I'm kind of jealous right now.
Pass it right through. Here
You're
it
just
comes.
you're just teasing me, Chris.
So, what is your favorite donut so we can end this segment?
Oh, look, I'm going to be so boring again. I just love me a regular old glazed Krispy Kreme donut. I
Yeah,
just, chef's kiss.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you to the Krispy Kreme gods. Seriously. Yeah, man, keep it simple. Whew.
All right. On to, what is a psychic medium to you? Like, what does that mean?
I think right now, what psychic medium means to me is somebody that's able to tap into the present moment to help you see a pathway through. A lot of people confuse psychic with omniscience or being like just knowing everything. I don't know everything. Also, I don't want to know everything. Okay. Some things are meant to be secrets. I don't want to know it all. So psychic is just being able to tap into a certain situation that's going on right now, seeing the past of it, seeing the future possibilities and where you are right now to help you choose the best path. Medium for me is being able to communicate with spirit and they're able to communicate back. So there's a back and forth communication. Psychic, I'm just receiving information. Medium, there's an exchange between me and the object or the entity or the person that I'm speaking to.
What is a spirit to you?
Spirit has a lot of connotations to it, but for me specifically, spirit is either someone in the light or we have an earthbound. So this is just energy coming through, talking to me. So yes, I believe in spirit. I think most times when people say spirit, they're talking about an earthbound spirit, right? And there's, if you were to talk to other mediums, there's a huge fight in the community around whether ghosts are real or that type of thing is real. But let me say this, just as humans are a spectrum, our abilities are on a spectrum too. Not every medium sees earthbound spirits. Not every medium talks to those in the light. Some mediums are only meant to be here to be like an animal communicator, or they're only meant to do that, the work in between, helping people that have already crossed over and we're talking to them, you know what I mean? Like in heaven or whatever you want to call it. So some people are able to see this full spectrum of spirit. Some people have never had an experience where they've seen a spirit in front of them, someone that is earthbound. So I just want to say, from my experience, I feel like I've seen a decent part of the spectrum, and I believe that it's a spectrum out there. I don't, I'm not going to sit here and say that anybody else's experience isn't true because I don't think that's fair just because I didn't have it. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So for me personally, spirit is an intelligent entity that's able to communicate with me.
How do you connect with spirits, and what's that like for you?
When I am connecting with those in the light, it is bliss. I don't know how to explain it. But people always ask me, do you feel exhausted after you do readings? Because, oh my God, you just pumped out so much information, or you're talking to people and you're pumped up. Like, no, it actually energizes me. I got to get my energy up to a certain space, and spirit brings theirs down to a certain space, and we meet somewhere in between, and then we start talking. So it's almost like tuning into a radio station. I guess it's like the best way to describe it. And with those in the light, it's I actually find it easier to connect with those that are earthbound.
Mm.
It's not that far of a reach to talk to them. Those in the light, I got to vibrate a little higher. I got to like push that energy up a little bit higher. But those earthbounds, it's easier to talk to and communicate with. But you do run the risk of like, who am I working with here? What are you about? Do you know what I mean? You got to kind of vet the earthbound spirit more than I feel personally than I do like somebody from the light, because I want to make sure what I'm working with. But yeah, that's been my experience.
Why do you think people are so fascinated with, death and the supernatural? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
There's something about us that needs to connect with something bigger than us. So I think it's natural. It's all a part of us. To me, it's unnatural to push that away or pretend like it's not there. There's something else going on. We may not understand it fully, but man, I just feel like there's something beautiful happening out there. And if I can understand even just a little bit of it, it'll also help me to understand myself.
Mhm.
So I think it's a natural thing to want to go towards something spiritual and to be obsessed with the paranormal because it helps you to understand yourself and what comes after, because death is inevitable for all of us. All of us. No one can escape it. If I can pass on anything from spirit, like the biggest lesson that they bring through every time, whether they're earthbound, whether they're in the light, doesn't matter where they are. Do not have regrets going into the next. Do the thing, be the thing, say the thing now, because it's your time. So I also think when we connect with that, it reminds us of the importance of now. We got to be here right now. So I think that this fascination with it is both a fascination with self, trying to understand ourselves, knowing what comes next, and trying to face that absolute inevitable tidal wave that comes for all of us.
Yeah, it's interesting. Kind of that reminded me. Recently, I did some interviews with kids, and one of the things I think we people talk about fitting in and belonging, and I think those are kind of dirty words. Like, I think you have to
Yeah,
own, I
Chris.
think you have to own who you are, be who you are, and then be accepted by those that are meant to be with you. And it's like, does that make sense? Like,
Yes, yes. I mean, you're hitting on things. I'm like, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And honestly enough, it's funny enough. That's actually been my experience. I'm sure that's been your experience too. Whenever I came to know myself and I fell in love with myself and my story, like that's when the right people started showing up around me. That's when like the players that I needed to get further ahead, or the resources that I need, or the people that actually see me. When I was actually able to see myself, is when I gave permission to others to see me too. That's been an unfolding. And I know it has been for you too.
And that's a
So I
beautiful thing,
just,
right?
yep, yep.
Kind of like this
You're
stuff.
old strange. Sir, excuse you, sir. I, how dare you tease me like this, Chris? Now I need a donut and I need string cheese after this. Thank you.
Do you feel like I've been stalking you, your
I
channel?
love it. I love it. I love it. I hope that you've been enjoying it. I know maybe sometimes I can be a little crass, but is the message resonating? So I hope it is, and I hope that you've been enjoying it. And just thank you, Chris.
I am,
Honestly,
and
from
I'm
my
enjoying
heart.
the interview, so I hope you are
Me
too.
too. Oh my God, yes,
You also do a lot of astrology and tarot,
I do.
and I've noticed that. Do you um, can you talk about that? And do they inform each other? Like, what are
Oh,
your?
I think
No,
so.
go on.
I think so.
Yeah.
I love astrology. I know a lot of people have a hard time with it, and I totally understand that. It sounds very woo-woo, and if you don't understand the language, it sounds nuts. We just sound nuts. Talk about Mercury retrograde, you're like, Mercury's in Gatorade again. What are you guys talking about? But it's just like, for me, the planets are telling a story. Again, it's a storytelling. So the planets are telling a story, and these planets each represent something. If you understand the symbolism, then you can kind of get an idea around the energy that is at play right now. Understanding the energy is being forewarned and forearmed. So you can work with the energy at play. It just makes you conscious, it makes you present. The planets aren't making you do anything. This isn't out of your control. You are totally in control of yourself. So the planets are just telling you, look, there's going to be this energy present. How do you want to use this? So and I think that totally, I feel, ties in with tarot cards, because tarot cards do the same thing. It's telling you the energy that's at play right now. How are we working with this? You still absolutely 110% have choices in this situation. Which path do you want to take? The tarot is showing you where we're at right now and which possibilities might be best for you. So for me, it all ties in, and especially with spirit, because again, I feel like the biggest message from spirit, what I keep hearing over and over and over again from all my readings and my paranormal investigations and everything, is to be here and be present right now. I keep hearing that. That is the one resounding message over and over and over again. So I feel like these tools, tarot and astrology, also help me to be in the moment. They remind me, this is the energy we're working with. What are we doing right here and right now? That gives me back my power, man. That gives me back my power. Tuning into spirit, working with spirit consciously gives me back my power. I'm asking them or working with them or directing them and where I need and what I'm doing. And I can do that same with the energy of astrology and the same with the tarot cards. So to me, it all makes sense. It all flows together. It helps me to be present right here and right now, what spirit is begging me to do. And they're offering me tools in order to work with the energy that's present.
Do you feel that there's something supernatural or divine taking place when you do a reading?
I do. I think, first of all, it's a miracle that this is occurring. It's also a miracle that I'm here based upon my own history and the trauma background that I have too. There is something miraculous and divine happening every time I go into a reading, and I do what brings me joy, which is this work. So I actually want to say to everybody, it doesn't matter whether you're a psychic or medium. If you're an architect and it brings you joy, there's something miraculous happening there. Anytime somebody follows their joy in this world where it tells us don't do that, or good luck following that, or you won't be able to unless you jump through all these hoops, for people that are following their joy, there's something miraculous and beautiful happening every time you do the work that calls to your heart and your soul. So it's not just me, but yes, I do feel like it because I am excited to be here. It is an honor. It is an honor to do this work and to have people trust me. I just, I don't, sometimes I kind of wake up after readings. I just have this moment where I just feel like in so much bliss, and I'm just thanking spirit. And I'm just like, thank you for choosing me. This also feels like it was a choice too. Like they had to choose me too, but I also had to show up and choose them as well. So I just, yes, every day I go into a reading or I get to do this work and I get to do what I love to do and I get to be myself. unapologetically. Like it is a miracle. Something divine is happening. And I feel so blessed that I was able to choose myself over and over again and to show up here and to be here to be doing this work. So, yes. Long story short, yes.
Some people associate tarot cards with dark energy. I mean, right?
Yes.
You have to accept that.
Yes.
So I'm gonna say, is this true? And why do you think people? Why? Like,
I think because people are scared. I think because they're scared. People, when someone doesn't understand something, a lot of people's first reaction is it's evil or it's bad because I don't understand it. I'm like, can you just give it 5 seconds? Sit with me for 5 seconds and let me pull some cards and talk about what's going on with you. You're going to see that there's nothing evil going on. Also, too, it's very much about the practitioner and where their energy is. Now, can your cards be used for evil? For sure. For sure. Anybody can use any tool any which way that they want. But if you're coming to me, that's not just because I cuss or I use like difficult language or I'm saying something in a blunt way or serious way to you doesn't mean that this is evil. And using these cards doesn't necessarily mean, look, these cards or your pendulum or whatever tools of intention that you're using here, I'm going to burst everybody's bubble. I'm going to give away the ending. It's just an extension of you. So I think it more has to do with the person. And when people say it's evil, like, well, then that's your own preconceived notions. Maybe it's time to start challenging some of that.
thank you for answering that.
Hmm.
How do you prepare for weekly astrology readings? Do you do a lot of research beforehand, or where do you get all this
Absolutely.
information? Like, so.
I know, right? So there's a couple astrologers that I follow that I just love. I love, love, love them. So I get different views from different astrologers, but I also look at the chart and what's going on within a week and like the aspects. And I try to personally tune into it. And so the way that I learned astrology was reading my own chart, understanding my own chart. You'll find that most astrologers start that way. So I for me, I research, I listen to other people and what they have to say, and then I also tune into what I feel energetically is happening with this because it also builds upon my understanding and my library and my bank around my information, the signs and symbols, and what these things mean. And that's always changing. It's always evolving, whether that's tarot or astrology or any of that stuff. And that's also, I think, why I like these subjects and paranormal investigations because it's like it's a never-ending learning journey. That's so important to me. And so, if anybody that knows astrology is listening to this, I have a stellium in my ninth house. And so, Chris, you're like, what are you talking about, crazy woman? For long story short, that means that learning, understand, being the eternal student is very important to me. Taking this information and what I've learned and then teaching it, talking about it is like literally an important part of my life path.
So, are all tarot card decks, like, do they have the same card in the sense, like the same? I mean, the images may be different, but are we dealing with the same things? That's what I mean. Are we dealing with the same, like,
I think that's a great question. It depends on what deck that you get. Some people do their own thing with some of these decks. Some people follow the tradition of what like each card should be. But I think every deck that you get, you're getting the influence of somebody on those cards. You're getting somebody's vision or their feelings or what they're bringing to it. So not only does every deck have a different energy to it, even though you might be playing with the same energy with these cards and what that brings to it, but you're also bringing that person's like kind of understanding or their vision to it with whatever they've created on this card too. So I think it also helps to pick a deck that you feel drawn towards. And also too, can I dispel a myth that somebody has to give you your first tarot deck? What? I bought my own first tarot deck that didn't, nothing bad happened to me, and I'm still doing the work. So I just want to say to anybody who thinks that somebody else has to give it to them or there has to be something magical about it. No, just go pick a deck that you resonate with that maybe visually speaks to you or like what the meanings behind those cards for whoever made it, the deck speak to you. So get something that helps you to tune into yourself or that helps you speak your language.
So I have a deck here,
Yeah.
and I was thinking I could switch you to this view.
Awesome.
And lay out this deck,
Very nice.
and you can help me pick a card.
Okay.
This is about this video and how it will resonate for our mutual groups.
Oh,
Is that something we could do? I'm just
absolutely.
winging it here. So.
Yes. I think this is fun. Yeah. Push
Okay.
my abilities too. Heck
Yeah.
yeah, dude. Okay.
So I'm
Okay.
going to
So
put my finger and you tell me when I'm in an area and I'll try to find the card that you want.
go up,
I can
go
move
up a
some
little bit.
things or
Okay. So go back over to, I guess it would be the right, maybe the right. Go to the right for you. Yep.
is
Okay.
my
Now
left,
go up a little bit. Yep. Yep. It's that card that your finger's over.
this one right here?
Yeah. It was on the bottom there.
Okay. So it's this card here,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I got it.
Yep. All right. That one.
And I'm going to turn it over. Can you see it
Okay.
from that angle?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to switch back to the other view and I'm going to hold it. It should come into focus there.
That looks like the Page of Swords.
All right. Talk to me.
This is a great card, y'all. So this is really about like, usually whenever a court card shows up like this is usually talking about somebody coming on the scene to either help or to hinder us. I found that mostly with the Page of Swords, this guy is pretty helpful. What we need to look out for, and with pages, whenever they show up, they're delivering a message. Don't be surprised if we get some information that's coming us to this week that like maybe we've been waiting upon. Maybe we're the one ready and able to deliver some information here too. Information is power with this card. Also, a lot of times too, be careful with gossip. Do not be gossiping right now. You're going to get caught. Or somebody might be gossiping around about or around you. Don't either partake in it, or you might be hearing about somebody saying something behind your back. So just be aware of that. But I think mostly with the Page of Swords here, it's important. What is the information that we're receiving this week or that we're giving out? Make sure that it's truthful, it's kind, and that it's right. Please and thank you. No gossiping. And don't be surprised when a message comes through this week, either information that we've been waiting on, information that we need in order to move forward. This is information that's going to help us make a quick decision because swords are around our mental space. It's going to help us make a quick decision or like piece together a puzzle here that this information we needed brings something forward for us so that we can move forward in a quick manner. Whatever you do with the pages, to just make sure that you think about your next steps very clearly. Don't jump into something without thinking about it. You got to think this all the way through. So make sure that you have a plan ahead of you whenever you get this information and then do something with it. Don't just immediately react to it, okay? Sit down, think about it, process it, then take action. But I feel like whenever the Page of Swords come up, something beautiful is coming through this week. Some kind of information that we needed. Also, too, swords can talk about like truth, justice, balance, fairness. So some kind of truth, or this information brings balance, or it's just something good here that evens the playing field. Just look forward to a message coming through, or if this is about you, deliver that message to somebody that's waiting on this information. This is good.
So my next question is, what is your fascination with large, hairy humanoid creatures from Western North America?
I think because
and on top of that, though,
okay,
is Chewbacca a Sasquatch?
I think, Chris, you are asking the right questions. Yes, this is the stuff that gets me. First of all, I love cryptids. I love the idea of cryptids. Like, are they real? Is this something real? Also, too, can I just put this out here? The way that they call on Sasquatch is always a mating call. If he ever does show up, are we ready for the energy we put out there? Okay, number one, everybody should be scared. Number two, I don't know. I just think it's fascinating. I love the stories around it. I mean, they're how old? These stories have been around for forever. You can find a story of a Bigfoot or a Yeti or this large, hairy man ape-like creature, in almost like every continent on the planet. Everybody's got a story around it. And it goes back a long time. So, I mean, it begs the question. I actually, for a while, I was asking, like, who's haunting who? With Sasquatch. So if this is a real thing, maybe we're seeing like a video on replay of like that link, the missing link or something. Do you know what I'm saying? We don't know what this thing is, even if it is real or not, So I just think it fascinates me. Is it real? I love that it's just a large, hairy man. And I also just think it's funny to say, to be honest, a wifey to Sasquatch. Do you know what I mean? One day wife to Sasquatch. Like, I just think it's goofy and fun and ridiculous. So I'm in one part making fun of it, but also just honoring the joy and the ridiculousness. And I also just think it's fun.
Well, that's all the questions I have. I think you've done an awesome job. I think it's been a lot of fun. I knew just from seeing you it would be fun, to talk to you. Awesome.
Thank you so much for the opportunity today. This was wonderful. I had a fantastic time with you. Just thank you from my heart. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for hearing. Thank you for actually hearing me. Thank you.
Hey guys, if you want to learn more about Sarah, you can go to the details under this video, and in there you can find a link to her website and to her Facebook channel, and you can go read up more about her and learn more about her and see if you want to talk to her. Also, thanks for joining us today. I hope you'll go over to our Facebook group. You are invited officially by me, and I'd love to see you over there, and stay tuned because we're just going to keep making content. Hopefully we can get up to 2 videos a week. Right now our goal is to maintain 1 video a week, Friday at 6, but we're also hoping to do a Wednesday release of the My Strange Stories in the future, and just have a Wednesday release for that, and then a Friday release for all other kinds of things that might have on the way, from interviews to short stories to hauntings and that kind of stuff. Again, thank you kindly, and see you in the next one.